It's for the doubters and who don't know about Murf. Please don't sue me. He pump fakes, rolls right, throws across his body. Shoulda ran, cause Tracy Porter's like, yo, Brett, you got me on the comeback. Sidney Rice should receive it. Interception, Paul Allen can't believe it. Hits below the knees, I bet they hurt now. Phantom pass interference isn't fake first downs. The NFL is set up. They want the revenue for repercussions of Katrina. I don't know that, but I really think this Favre's coming back to complete some unfinished business. The Silver Fox with AP to have some balance. Viking Super Bowl champs way down in Dallas. The Silver Fox arrives, we got unfinished business. September 9th, we got unfinished business. We need to get some medical marijuana for Percy Harvin's migraines. We got unfinished business. Silver Fox arrives, we got unfinished business. September 9th, we got unfinished business. Destination Dallas, we got unfinished business. Super Bowl champs, we got unfinished business. I do this for my mom and dad in the common man, and I don't know what God is planned, but I'ma get you up on the bandwagon. I ain't saying that I'm playing, but you playing what I'm saying on the radio, so I'll say it slow, maybe super slow. Vikings, champions of the Super Bowl. So Dan Cole, get a handful of this man's flow. Whatever it is, I got it. This is just a sample, and I can keep going. Maybe blow you up the speaker, cause I do this for Deuce. And baby brother Peter, I ain't even never seen a better team than we can ever be. And cleverly, Favre's gonna wait another week. The Silver Fox arrives, we got unfinished business. September 9th, we got unfinished business. We need to get some medical marijuana for Percy Harvin's migraines. We got unfinished business. Silver Fox arrives, we got unfinished business. September 9th, we got unfinished business. Destination Dallas, we got unfinished business. Super Bowl champs, we got unfinished business. No matter what he says, no matter what he do, he's always coming back home to you. You can see the strong arm, you can see the ankle bruise. He's always coming back home to you. Through the lies and reports that make the fake news, he's always coming back home to you. As sure as the bat of my homie Rod Carew, he's always coming back home to you. No matter what he says, no matter what he do, he's always coming back home to you. If only we had known what I already knew. He's always coming back home to you. From the heaven that we had to the hell we've been through, he's always coming back home to you. He's always coming back home to you. By the way, the 394.94 cut-in is by far the smartest thing a person could do. Shout out to my brother Tim, Alexandria, Minnesota. We got some unfinished business. We got unfinished business.
He does this for Deuce and baby brother Pete. Teneby, does anybody, is there a better? I mean, that's like, a lot of those great music radio stations will do a 2 for Tuesday or a double shot. We had Kenny Rogers on the montage to start the show. Start the 2 o'clock hour with Murf, Unfinished Business. That was our theme going into the 2010 season after we lost to the Saints in the NFC Championship game. And now we're going to wrap it up with a montage.
We didn't even play the second version of Murf.
No, we've got that as well.
After the Kirk Cousins year.
And we're going to play the montage again at the end of the show, the conclusion of the show. I'm now fascinated with artificial intelligence. You familiar with X, formerly known as Twitter?
Yes.
So you know what Grok is?
I've seen Grok on my Twitter app, but I've never really clicked on it because I've never really cared enough to want to click on it.
It's artificial intelligence.
Really?
That's what theirs is. Watch this. I'm going to click Grok, and I'm going to say, it says, ask anything. Tell me about the common man, Dan Cole. That's how quick it comes up. Dan Cole, widely known as the Common Man or simply Common, is a prominent figure in sports talk radio, particularly in the Twin Cities area of Minnesota. Here's an overview based on available information. Radio career, Dan Cole hosts the Common Man program on KFAN FM 100.3, noon to 3 weekdays. His show is noted for its unique, humorous approach to sports commentary, often including political and cultural discussions. He's been with KFAN since 1994, making him one of the station's longest-serving hosts. Background and personal life. Cole has a colorful personal history, describing himself as having gone from an all-American boy to a juvenile mischief-making delinquent before finding his path in broadcasting. He has a self-deprecating humor about his past, including his high school dropout days and his valued experiences before setting into radio. He's known for his storytelling, often sharing tales from his life that range from his childhood to his travels through the radio industry. He lives in Woodbury, Minnesota with his family and has been noted for his love of golf, often talking about his game on his show. They use the word often. I would say spends way too much time talking.
Often's not enough.
Yeah. Show content and style. His broadcast style is unconventional, focusing on entertainment rather than solely on sports analysis. I think we're failing there, are we not, Genevieve, if we're focusing on entertainment? Cole often engages in what he calls stream of consciousness broadcasting, mixing sports with other topics, and is known for his comedic bits like the Preposterous Statement Tournament.
Wow.
His approach has earned him a loyal following for those who appreciate humor in sports talk. He frequently collaborates with producer Brandon Teneby Molesky.
Wow.
And has regular guest appearances by Mark Rosen. Other ventures? Beyond radio, Cole has ventured into comedy, performing stand-up shows around Minnesota. He's also the author of Being the Common Man, the best, the lousiest, and lousiest, the best, a book that offers a lighthearted look at his life and career. He has been involved in various local media projects, including a documentary about his life and career. This is all true.
This is crazy.
I could not have wrote this myself.
Yeah.
Public perception. Cole's style and humor have made him a polarizing figure.
Ooh.
Hence all the hate emails that I've received over the year and gleefully read on the air. Some listeners find his approach refreshing and entertaining. I don't know if refreshing, I would say repetitive and entertaining, while others might be less appreciative of his antics. His show has been successful in his time slot, often ranking well in local ratings.
Wow.
I would say very well. Overall, Dan Cole's common persona is characterized by a blend of sports knowledge, wit, and a self-deprecating take on life, making him a unique voice in sports radio. That's what Grok had to say.
That's unbelievable. It's extremely accurate.
Tell me about Brandon Molesky. Brandon Molesky is known for his work in Twin City sports radio scene, particularly with KFAN AM 100.3. Here's a detailed look at his background and career. Early life and hockey involvement. Brandon Molesky was born on December 28, 1979 in Maple Grove. Is that correct?
I mean, I grew up in Maple Grove. I technically was born in Robbinsdale for a hospital, but yeah, that works.
He has a strong background in hockey, having played as a defenseman at Totino Grace High School, where he was a two-time All-North Suburban Conference selection.
Wow.
I did not know that. I thought you were terrible the way you talk about your career. You were a two-time All... And I thought I was the best athlete on the show, having played both sides of the ball.
Well, you still are.
He also played hockey at St. Thomas University for one season. Coaching career. After his playing days, Molesky transitioned into coaching. He served as an assistant coach at Robbinsdale Cooper for 4 seasons before being hired as head coach at Coon Rapids in 2010. His tenure at Coon Rapids was aimed at revitalizing the program and keeping the top local talent within the high school team. Your media career. There's not a lot here. But
I was going to say, is this where it just goes blank?
in the media, Brandon is well known for his role at KFAN, where he has been involved in various capacities. He's often referred to as Teneby, an on-air nickname derived from his role as the producer of the Common Man program, a Common Man program with Dan Cole. His work extends to hosting segments like Wild Fan Line, where he discusses Minnesota Wild hockey, and producing several other shows on the station. He also has been a co-host for KFAN's Beyond the Pond, a weekly program showcasing his deep connection in the sport. Podcasting and radio shows. Molesky has expanded his media presence through podcasting, including segments like Trek to the X. I didn't know you were doing Trek to the X.
I don't anymore.
Oh.
Stopped doing that a couple years ago.
Where he interviews prep hockey coaches in Minnesota leading up to the state tournament. Social media and public engagement. On social media, particularly on X, Molesky shares insights and opinions on sports, especially hockey and Minnesota sports teams. His posts often reflect a humorous or critical take on sports events or team performances. He has expressed ambitions like becoming the DJ for the Minnesota Wild.
It does sound kind of fun, actually. If I could pick the music at Wild games.
He's expressed ambitions like becoming, and that's setting your sights high. Becoming the DJ for Minnesota Wild games and to discuss sports-related topics, showing his engagement with the local sports community. Personal life, Brandon Molesky has maintained a connection with local sports scene, both as a participant and commentator. He's known for his involvement in youth hockey with a family member, Samson Molesky, noted in youth hockey rosters, indicating his continued ties to the sport at various levels. His career illustrates a blend of sports, media, and community involvement, making him a well-recognized figure in Minnesota sports broadcasting landscape. Though this changes every time you pull it up, because the last time it talked about your connection to Tennessee on Tennessee. So it's...
Well, the next time you have to do it about yourself, it's gonna find the skeletons in the closet.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I don't think I'm ever going to do it again. Wants me to ask Grok how many state tennis champions JG has.
Well, we can find the answer.
We will find the answer. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Tennessee, after you do the keyword, can we go ahead and do one of the giveaways?
Sure.
Let's give away a $100 gift card to 5 Iron Golf. It's in the North Loop. It's TrackMan Simulators. It's terrific. You'll love it. Head to 5irongolf.com to book your adventure today, and you could win a $100 gift card to maximize your first trip. Be the 11th caller at 1-800-320-5326. 1-800-320-5326. If you're the 11th caller, you win that $100 gift card from the common man, the fan, and everybody at 5 Iron Golf.
The fan wants to give you a shot to put $1,000 in your hand with our national cash contest. Just enter the keyword bonus at KFAN.com now for a shot of winning. That keyword is bonus. Enter it now at KFAN.com. Wild Wednesdays, sponsored by Jim Beam, the official bourbon of the Minnesota Wild, are here all season long. Listen every Wednesday through March for your chance to win tickets.
Tennessee, did I see that inter-office programming memo correctly? Is the Ben Johnson show being moved to Wednesdays?
Wednesday this week, yeah.
It's for the next couple of weeks, I think I saw.
I think it might just be for the rest of the...
Yeah, it might even be the rest of the season.
Of the season.
So no Ben we'll be here at noon tomorrow to break down Vikings-Rams, hopefully on a joyful note, on a winning note, as we talk about our next opponent, the Philadelphia Eagles, though it could be a sad eyes 12 o'clock hour. No! Then Ben Johnson will be in at 12 noon on Wednesday. This text message that just came in, Tennessee, says, comment only you would be brave enough to spend an entire segment reading AI search results on sports talk radio on game day of a Vikings playoff game, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Love it, me boy. Grant in Maple Grove, Tennessee's hometown where he was born. And if you read AI, that's what you would expect me to do. I don't take a serious approach to sports, and I mix in a lot of this, that, lat. Here's another that says, I asked Grok why they call Brandon Molesky Tennessee, and it just said it's really not a very good story. Justin Gard, early life and education. Gard grew up in Edina, where he attended Edina High School. He was a standout in tennis, securing the Class 2A state championship once. No, it does say twice. Back-to-back years, 2000 and 2001, his high school achievements had led him to further his tennis career at the collegiate level at the University of Iowa. Talks about being with Bumper to Bumper, his own show, The Cake Show, highly involved in Gopher athletics. The one I was really curious about, because I'm fascinated with him, is Paul Lambert. Who is Paul Meat Hold on. Meat sauce Lambert. Let's see what Grok has to say. Paul Meat Sauce Lambert is a well-known radio personality, primarily recognized for his role as a co-host on the Power Trip Morning Show. Full name, Paul Lambert. Nickname, Meat Sauce, given to him by superstar Mike Morris. Career, he joined KFAN's The Power Trip Morning Show, where he's known for making humorous comments, often focusing on sports, particularly the NFL draft, and engaging in comedic bits. Lambert is noted for his unique comedic style, including his penchant for penis jokes. I'm not making it up. That's what it says. Mispronouncing words and not always paying attention during the show, yet still able to recall details accurately when needed.
They've nailed it.
That's his life in a nutshell. Think about that's the description of your life.
Penchant for penis jokes.
You can't even make that up. I'm not making it up. Go to Grok and look for it yourself.
By the way, the next promotion for the Flop Sweat and Tears tour, can you have that be like his byline?
Oh, it will be. Talks about his former marriage, and the divorce. Talks about his brother and father. He's made guest appearance on other shows and platforms. He's engaged in podcasting with his own Meat Sauce podcast network, though it appears there are no episodes listed. So he's got his own podcast network, but there are no podcasts listed there. He's been involved in community events like the Minnesota Deer and Turkey Classic and has participated in stand-up comedy around Minnesota. Known for being self-deprecating and having a unique ability to recite what was just said on the show despite not paying attention. He's described as having an extensive knowledge of the NFL draft and often provides sports commentary with a humorous twist. Paul Lambert's style of humor and broadcasting has made him a beloved figure in local sports radio, but his approach has also drawn criticism from those who prefer more traditional or professional radio content. Oh, his presence on the show has contributed to its success, making it a ratings juggernaut in the Twin Cities radio scene. Notice they didn't say ratings juggernaut with us, Tim.
No, they did not.
They said we've been doing all right. I mean, maybe PA
Knock
was
on
right.
wood.
Yeah, maybe PA was right all those time ago. Common Hartman done okay. Oh. Each year he prepares for the NFL draft with what seems like an obsessive level of detail.
And by that movement, he looks at mock drafts.
Right. His preparation includes watching countless hours of college football games, reading scouting reports, and following draft analysts.
Huh?
I've never heard anything more preposterous in my life. Oh, the one thing I can say and they shall say, and he's able to bamboozle even Grok. Because that's what he's done. He's got them fooled. While his approach is often humorous and sometimes irreverent, his football acumen is respected. His knowledge is not just about stats, but also includes understanding team needs, coaching philosophies, and how players might transition from college to the NFL. He doesn't really do all that, does he?
No.
I did think
not at all.
Do you think it's got a little B in here?
Maybe.
We'll do
Arm wrestling champion.
We'll do one more. One more we'll do, Timmy, okay? Go to Grok. Who is Lil B? see what it says. Barb Nara, known as Lil B, is a radio personality from the Twin Cities area. She hosts on KFAN and Cities 97, showcasing her presence in the local media scene. She's been featured on the podcast Libations for Everyone, where she discussed various topics in casual barroom-style banter setting. The episode was released on April 20th, 2022, highlighted her engaging personality in her role in promoting the Twin Cities as a travel destination, among other subjects. And then nothing else about her in there. Nothing about being on the Grom. Nothing about feminine touch to the program. I don't know. Also, nothing in the JG one that said anything about being an ambassador ambassador for Omaha, Nebraska. I mean, so Grok's not perfect. It's pretty good. I like it. I'll lead you with this, Tenby. The AI being so spot on was scaring me, but it's a misunderstanding of sauce. Misunderstanding of sauce gives me faith that robots won't be taking over soon. Very good. So good. Everybody wants me to do Mark Rosen and see what it says. Maybe we'll do that on the other side of the break, and we'll break down some more sports. Let's give away. Speaking of meat sauce, he's lifted his self-imposed stand-up comedy exile. He will join me, Larry Mondello guy, and the very funny Colleen Justice. In other words, gentlemen, take your gal to the comedy show this upcoming Friday at the New Hoop Cinema Grill, because it won't be all testosterone-fueled. There'll be some estrogen-fueled comedy as well. We're going to give away a pair of tickets to this Friday night show. Call 1-800, be the 11th caller, 1-800-320-5326, 1-800-320-5326. 11th caller will be a winner of Flop, Sweat, and Tears tickets. Otherwise, you can go to cinemagrill.com to get tickets today, cinemagrill.com.
We're also going to replay the montage to close out the show.
That is correct. Past Common Man program. I think people will be sorely disappointed. I typed in who is Mark Rosen to Grok. There are so many Mark Rosens out there. It did list the legendary WCCO sportscaster, but it was very limited in what it had to say. So then I did WCCO sportscaster and KFAN radio personality. It became more detailed, but it just gushed about him. Nothing about him being a fraud. And
so not realistic.
Yeah, it's not realistic. Yeah. And then it doesn't mention any connection with the Grom, just that he was on the Power Trip Morning Show. Then he retired from CCO, and he was a legendary broadcaster, blah, blah, blah. And that's it.
Well, that's not fun.
No, mentioned he wrote a book, though he really didn't write the book. He just told a few tales to Jim Bruton, and Jim Bruton wrote the book. But, yeah, so that's a little disappointing. Mike McCarthy out as head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, yes. Correct? I still haven't seen a story that says was he fired, resigned, or mutual? Do we know? Do we have any indication?
So his contract was up.
Okay.
So his contract expired, I don't know, 5-6 days ago, but Dallas had like an exclusive negotiating window with him.
Okay.
And apparently they didn't come to an agreement. So now he's a free agent.
Allegedly, several teams might be interested. Saints, Bears.
Yeah.
I don't either, though. I will say this. When I looked at his Dallas coaching career, it's not as bad as I thought. You know, as far as wins and losses. Yeah, in the regular season, it wasn't as bad as wins and losses, but the postseason success, it just hasn't been there. And his quarterback, when he won the big game, was A-Rod, right? When he won it in 2010. Yes. See, and there, to me, that's I know it's an inexact science, and you can't just say it's not an absolute that a good quarterback makes a coach look better, and if a coach doesn't have a good quarterback, he's just an average coach. I bring up Brady and Belichick all the time. They won 6 big games together. After Brady left, he won one immediately with another team, different coach, different personnel, different city, different conference, different everything. He won one immediately, while Belichick New England did nothing after Brady left. And when McCarthy won his big game with A-Rod was playing as good a football. Even though A-Rod, what has he won, 4 MVPs, and he's won 2 back-to-back as recently as 2 years ago, right? I still think he was better back when in the big game year, I believe, and I think that had more to do with Rodgers' quarterbacking than it had to do with McCarthy's coaching.
You show me a winning coach, I show you someone that's had good quarterback play.
Yeah.
Maybe KOC is the exception.
Yeah. Well, speaking of KOC, Tenneby, I don't know where this text messenger gets his information. And maybe he's just speculating, because there was speculation that there were teams out there that were willing to trade for Kevin O'Connell. And it wouldn't be unprecedented, because didn't they trade for Gruden? Didn't the Raiders?
They did.
Trade for Gruden, right?
Did Tampa Bay trade for Gruden?
Or maybe it was Tampa Bay who traded for Gruden, one or the other. This text message says, Dallas is very interested in trading for KOC and J.J. McCarthy. Return would be multiple firsts and seconds over the next 3 years in some current players. Would you do it? B-Flow could take over as head coach. Now, I don't think there's any truth to any of this.
Oh, my gosh. Above average.
O'Connell himself addressed the rumors at his news conference. I think it was Monday, a week ago today, or might have been Tuesday, because they had the Monday night game. And he said, something if it's flattering, but I'm happy where I'm at, right? Sometimes I wonder if those things are just tossed out as clickbait, too. I mean, the fake news thing isn't, I don't think it runs as rampant as a lot of people do that think everything out there is fake news. But I think sometimes people will throw things against the wall, or one guy, one GM, or some football insider will hear something. I think people might want to trade for KOC, and that suddenly becomes a story. So I don't know how much truth there is to that rumor. But Tenneby, let's throw it at you. If Jerry Jones called you and you're running the team and they said, we want KOC and McCarthy, we'll give you multiple firsts and seconds over the next 3 years and some of our current players, are you willing to? Now, you don't know who those players are yet, but just the initial approach. Would you say, thanks, but no thanks, and hang up the phone? Or would you say, well, what kind of draft picks you talking about? And who are these current players you're talking about? Or would you immediately say, no, thank you?
It would take a massive haul of draft picks. I think J.J. McCarthy's worth a first-round pick.
Sure.
KOC might be worth 3 first-round picks.
What did they get for Gruden? Can you look that up?
Yeah.
Can you Google? Let's see what they got, because Gruden was highly regarded. He was considered as good a coach as there was in the National Football League. The text messenger says then he closes his text by saying B-Flow could take over as head coach. So you would have...
He was traded for 2002, 2003 first-round draft picks, 2002, 2004 second-round picks, and $8 million in cash. So 2 firsts, 2 seconds for John Gruden.
Over 2 years and $8 million in cash. If they offered you 2 firsts and 2 seconds over 2 years, Dallas, and $8 million in cash, would you do it?
I wouldn't. I think KOC is really, really good. And I think B-Flow's a really, really good defensive coordinator. But there is still a little bit of, he can change, right? You can
Right.
you can adapt as a coach. You can learn from your past mistakes. But there have been now a couple different people, specifically at the quarterback position, that have called out his time in Miami. I don't know what his leadership skills are like. And I am starting to lean that I know quarterback whisperer is a strong term, but I do think KOC works better with quarterbacks than most.
Yeah.
And that quarterbacks want to go play for him. And to me, having a quarterback-friendly offensive coach is your key to having a long window of being
correct,
having a chance every single year.
The other factor here is Dallas isn't a terrible team. And if McCarthy, coupled with KOC, made a quick turnaround there, like we had here with the 13-4, those draft picks aren't good. I mean, they're still 2 firsts and 2 seconds. They're still in those rounds, but they would probably come much later in the round. And then you go, I mean, if you were talking about the number 1 pick overall for 2 years in a row and the first pick in the second round 2 years in a row, there I might have to actually say, can I get back to you in a day or two? You know, because then you're talking about, for more than likely, game-changing franchise players. But you're also talking about the 28th overall pick or the 19th overall or something. I don't.
Well, and, you know, these trades are always, it seems like it comes from the one side, right? When you're Dallas, you're trying to think of creative solutions to improve your organization. But from a Viking standpoint, unless you have unless the will's for penny pinching, right? Mm-hmm. If you have the poll ads and they didn't want to pay KOC, then that might make a little more sense. But I've gotten no impression from the Wilfs that they wouldn't be willing to pay him. You have a good young coach that I think you're envisioning being here for a long time. You, hopefully, J.J. McCarthy is your franchise quarterback. You've got lots of money available. Like, this is your window. So I don't know why after a 14-3 season, with every reason to believe that you should have a chance the next couple of years, why you would just stop that. Right? It's not a team at the end of its window and let's get this head coach out of here before things fall apart, right? I don't understand from a Vikings perspective why you'd have interest in that right now, like basically rebuilding again.
Common Gruden was 25 years ago. The more recent example to look at is Sean Payton being traded to the Broncos a few years ago. Was he traded? I don't remember that. I barely remember what I had for lunch.
Was he traded?
Yeah. Well, no, I know what I had for lunch. I had my wife's chili chicken and her ham and cheese sliders. I just want to eat my way right through to the grill. I didn't remember that Sean Payton was traded to the Denver Broncos, but Tenneby is looking at Grok right now. Now, we can't always trust Grok, though it was correct about a certain body part that the meat sauce likes to tell jokes about.
Looks like they got a first, a second, and a third for Sean Payton.
Well, if he's worth the first set, now he's got some cachet.
Oh, yeah, he won a big game.
He won a big game, so he's considered pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. And, you know, look, But,
like, it made sense for the Saints because they had reached their max, right? They were so up against it from a salary cap standpoint that they needed to rebuild. So it makes sense for them to start over. Hey, we can trade our coach, get some draft equity, and let's rebuild this thing. The Vikings, it doesn't make sense where they're at.
Right. No, it really doesn't. Especially when you look at, they are in a pretty nice position. Especially if Darnold bounces back and plays well. Because then we can go with Darnold, we can trade Darnold, we can franchise, we got McCarthy. We have a number of highly regarded defensive players that if we do part ways with Darnold, we have enough money to resign some of these guys. They are in a pretty good spot right now. They got a lot of salary cap space already, right? Allegedly.
Yes, next year.
Yeah, so they are in a pretty good spot that it would seem like, well, no, there'd be no reason to trade Kevin O'Connell. And
if there's a flaw in Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, it's been drafting. So
well, that's true.
We're now just going to acquire a bunch of picks and get rid of our proven stuff.
Yeah, that's another good point. Here's one that says, what would Andy Reid fetch now that he's getting up in age? He would probably retire, but there is a new NFL where coaches become draft currency. Andy Reid, his success is exceptional. He was terrific in Philadelphia, and he's won a number of big games while coaching. Three big games while coaching with
It's not even a discussion. He ain't going anywhere.
No, he isn't going anywhere.
Why would they trade him?
Yeah. But just wondering what you would be able to get if they said, name your offer. And it'd be a lot of first-round draft picks, obviously. One other...
How many can you trade? I mean, there's got to be a max at some point, right?
True.
Like, you can't just trade first-round picks for the next 10 years.
One other text message says, KOC is getting an offer from the Wilfs to the tune of 6 years for around $12 to $13 million per year. Book it, Dano. I read the same report, and those are just the reports of what they think it would be. I don't know if that's actually been offered to him, how accurate those numbers are. I would think it would be in that ballpark, because what are the highest paid coaches in the NFL making right now? $10, $12 million a year is probably about the going rate, right? And if he's going to sign a deal, and with his success he's had, I would think KOC would be among the most highly paid coaches, and that would be around like what, $10, $12 million a year. I think that's that's kind of like the ceiling right now for coaches in the National Football League. I don't think what happens tonight will change. I tend to agree with. Let me say this. I don't think no matter what happens at the Vikings tonight, even a blowout, it doesn't change the Wilfs' opinions on KOC. He's safe. He will sign an extension. So will Kwesi. Pete Bursich, who we had on at 1:30, radio analyst for the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings, his opinion is that he thinks the Vikings, while he doesn't know what that decision is, he thinks they've already made their decision on what they're going to do with Sam Darnold, regardless of what happens tonight. Whether he's brilliant, brutal, moves on, not sure. I tend to agree with him, but we'll see. Let's do it, Tennessee. Let's close out the show.
Good night, until we meet again. Adios, au revoir.
Thanks for having me, Tennessee.
Hey, great job.
See you tomorrow at 12 noon. No Ben Johnson show tomorrow. It'll be Wednesday at noon. Talk tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Good night, folks, and good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are.
We're coming.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.